Hi, and welcome back to Drawing with Aine. This week we're going to do portraiture. So I'm doing my self-portrait. I couldn't get anyone to sit for me, but it's quite hard to get someone to sit for you because it can be a little bit embarrassing to sit and to stay still for that length of time for someone to draw you. But if you have a mirror, you just set it up. You have a mirror at home and you can do self-portrait. But if you can get someone to sit for you, then that's great as well. Okay, so we're doing portraiture, but we're also going to do a little bit of narrative with it, because people have their own character and stuff, and it's nice to bring that out. And as well as that, portraiture can be quite scary to do if you haven't done it before. So to kind of take your mind off that, we're going to incorporate the narrative to get you drawing and thinking more, so you don't get too hung up on the portraiture side of it. So because people really, they don't know where to start with portraits, the thing I like to do is I do my scribbling first, just to loosen up, but we won't do that here. And I do a continuous line drawing, just because it is, there's no kind of shying away from that. You just have to get into it, So you just start anywhere, and you can be quite, scratchy with this if you want. So I'm just drawing the outline of my face, and I wore this kind of turban thing. My hair looks awful. And oh yeah, I'll point out as well that before I get started too much, that I got a big piece of paper and I folded it this way. So I'm going to do my face over here, but I'm going to do maybe something else over the other side and try and incorporate the two together to create a narrative. So I haven't decided yet what I'm going to draw, but I think something as I'm drawing this. So I'm just drawing the turban thing here, and then my eyebrows are kind of here. So there's no, you could study the anatomy of the face and all that, but it's really boring, Just if you can just kind of train your eyes to follow what you see, it's a lot freer and it makes the drawing a lot more interesting. Whereas you might end up with a very generic kind of a face if you do it by all the measurements and stuff like that. And really what you want to create is an interesting drawing, not a perfect drawing. Because as I said before, if you want a perfect representation of something, all you have to really do is take a photo of it. So drawing really is bringing something through the filter of your own mind. So if you can do that, then you kind of have it, So you have to lose the idea of drawing something perfect, because then you'd never kind of want to draw at all, to just take all the fun out of it. So here are the eyes. I'm looking very kind of sad and mad. But just make my face a bit wider. It's not that skinny at all. And my mouth. So you can use a bit of artistic license, if you wanted to have bigger lips, you can make them bigger than they actually are. But yeah, try and stay true to what you see as much as possible, so you don't waver too far off reality, So I know that I've made a mistake here. That comes down a bit more there, and that comes out another little bit. And my ear is here. So this is not a perfect drawing, but at least it's, it's something. So I'm going to actually darken some bits now, just to give me a sense of tone. Nostrils are always really dark. There's little shadows. Follow the shadows here. Shadows in the mouth here as well. It's slightly open. And just really, the top lid is always a little bit darker than the bottom lid as well. So just get this in. There's really dark tone here. So I'm really trying to squint my eyes now and find where my darkest tones, and that should make the lighter parts kind of jump out, And don't forget to put in your neck and your shoulders, because They are part of you as well. You're not just a head floating. And don't get too hung up on one area. Don't have one perfect eye and the rest all kind of scratchy. Okay, so here we are, and I've drawn a quick sketch of myself. I look very serious and a little bit angry in it. So I'm just going to continue. I'm going to get some of my darks down. I'm going to maybe do some visual language like we discussed last week. So these are all the things. We started off with a line drawing here. So, and then I put in a little bit of tone. These are all nice tools that we have now in our kit to utilize when we're doing a drawing of any kind. So it'll just make our drawings more interesting rather than just using one way of drawing, you know. So there's some nice little designs here. I'm going to put this in like this. So I'm not being too particular at all. Now for our narrative, I'm thinking that I might put myself, because I'm looking a little bit lost in this, I might put myself in a dark forest or something like that. So you know the way earlier I said that I folded my paper in half widthwise at the start. Now I can open it up and I'm going to do my scene in the background. So I've drawn forest scenes before, so I kind of know what I'm doing. But if you wanted to draw a scene and you didn't know how to actually draw it, then you can get an image of it, collect some images and maybe put them together, or you could get some branches from the garden and study those and have those around here. So I'm going to just use my imagination now from here on in. So here I am. This was done from life, and now I'm going to do a little narrative in the background. So I'm going to do a little forest scene in the background. So here are my trees, kind of old, stumpy trees, nice and moody landscape. And I might put a moon in the background as well. So if you want to do something that has narrative in it, you want to come up with narrative, you could just put random words on a page and tear it up and put the random words into a jar and just pick out a few different words and see what you'll have to combine in your picture, because new combinations are really what originality is all about. Nobody can be completely original, but when you combine things from different novel kind of categories, you can come up with something really kind of that you mightn't even have been able to think of yourself. But the randomness of it, you know, helps you jog your kind of imagination. So I'm just going to do these trees, another little bit to these trees. And I think that what we should do to this is actually add a bit of painting, add a little bit of colour to this. So we'll do that in one moment. Okay, thanks. Okay, so here we are. We've done our little drawing and a little bit of narrative included. And I'm a sucker for colour, so I just want to put a little bit of colour. I'm not going to go crazy putting loads of colours into this because essentially it's a drawing. So I'm going to try and keep it as kind of colourless really as possible. I just feel like I want to emphasize a certain area. So I got a kind of feeling. So I just got this feeling, it's kind of a dark feeling of the mood of it. So I'm going to go with that. So I'm just going to colour all of this area. I'm mixing a little bit of brown with a little bit of a kind of bluey grey colour. It's just a nice moody colour. So kind of let your picture talk to you, and it will tell you what it needs. So this one is dark. Now I'm going over these a little bit, but I can go over them again. Now, the moon obviously is going to have a little glow off it. So I'm just going to do kind of a greeny colour for the moon. And let that kind of go out into the sky. So it's going out to blend with the other colour there. Okay. I have to colour in another bit of this blue grey over here, or this blue grey and brown here. Put that in there. So already it's given it a whole new definition. Now a drawing is different to a painting in the way that you just want to emphasize certain areas. So I'm going to think I might leave the rest of it as a drawing. So with a drawing, we don't want to turn it completely into a painting. It's still essentially a drawing. So what I'm going to do, I think, is leave the rest as a drawing, and then you have that background. So you have sort of a moodiness to it, but you still have the drawing here. And what I might do is actually do the trees and kind of just fade them out. So I'm going to do the trees just the dark brown on its own. And I'm going to use it a little bit heavier than I used the wash at the back. So I'm just going to, where they are, follow them in like this. Because I don't want to kind of lose them. They're really important in this. And in here as well. So you can see the contrast here of where something is drawn and where there's the little bit of painting as well. And it's really kind of, it just has this moodiness to it. It's really cool. So today we're covering a few things. We're covering portraiture, but I didn't want to just completely go with portraiture because people get so hung up about it and think, okay, I can't do portraiture. So I thought if I incorporated these other elements, it might make it more fun for people and they might attack it a bit better. So really, what I've done is portraiture, narrative, and emphasis. So really what I've done is I've put the emphasis in what is essentially the negative space, the background. And I've coloured that in a dark colour so that the drawing actually jumps out. And because there's not much tone in the drawing, it's just really a line drawn with a tiny bit of tone. It has sort of a starkness to it, so I think it really works. So when you're doing this at home, you can incorporate lots of different things. You could put your pet into it, or you could put things that you like into it, but in some way link them up, so it's believable. So I do kind of believe that this person is in the forest alone because they're really sad looking. And that's just the way that painting, that drawing took me. So go with the way your drawing is going, So there we go. There's the drawing for this week.